me first welcome my dear guest live here in the studio, Dr. Hala Enara, our political analyst. Thank you very much for being with us, Dr. Hala. I'm discussions, by the way.
Thank you.
And we are going to start immediately, as we do have a lot of banners, and we are going to start with the main banner of Al-Ahram, where we read, exerting the utmost efforts to protect Egypt's security. Subhi, the General Commander of the Armed Forces and the Minister of Defense, says Sinai shall always remain the symbol of the victory of the will of the people to defeat terrorism. And Subhi, who was accompanied by General Magdi Abdel Ghaffar, Minister of the Interior, paid a visit to El Arish, and Abdel Ghaffar says the army and the police are leading the warriors against extremism. The Ministers of Defense and the Interior inspect the security situation in the northern Sinai city, and still with the same issue, but from Al-Akhbar this time. Arresting 8 from the leaders of the military wing of the terrorist group of the Brotherhood. Subhi says the citizens of Sinai are participating with the armed forces and the police in one of the greatest patriotic epics. The same issue in Al-Masri al-Yawm. The Minister of Defense says from Al-Arish, combating terrorism with relentless efforts. Subhi inspects the army and the police forces along with Abdel Ghaffar. Ma'am, one of the most important issues, it's not only paying a visit to Al-Arish, but to have a tour inside Al-Arish itself.
Yes.
And to be welcomed by the residents of Al-Arish. And above that, Subhi and Abdel Ghaffar had a dialogue with their men there, conveying the messages not only of the highest commander of the armed forces, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, but from all Egyptians, to say that we are all appreciating what they are doing there, and to make sure that they are enjoying high spirits, despite the fact that they are included or involved into a real war.
In fact, this is, in the first place, it's an answer to what was circulated over social networks and over the press, that terrorists are now in command of Arish, and they are making checkpoints and obliging people to do certain things. Defense Minister and Interior Ministers going to this place especially means that it's under control of the state, not under control of the terrorists. And dealing with the people is to reassure them, not only the people of Arish, in fact, people in every place in Egypt. We're very concerned after seeing this checkpoint and what was circulated about terrorists in command in Arish, and that our troops are not in command there. We were very concerned. This is to reassure everyone in Egypt that our army is in command of every single centimeter and inch of Egypt.
Regarding this, ma'am, is it only a message to the Egyptians or also to certain powers abroad?
Both sides, both.
Okay.
The powers and to Egyptians. But more important, Egyptians.
From Al-Ahram front page, we return back to read that 3 ministers lay down the mechanisms of improving the atmosphere of investment, an agreement to increase the trade exchange between Egypt and Poland. Egypt and Poland signed a memo of understanding to boost economic cooperation. The signing was made by His Excellency Minister of Trade and Industry, Engineer Tariq Qabil. Also, we are going to receive a high-ranking Polish official today, paving the way for the Polish president's visit to Egypt. How do you see this, ma'am?
In fact, Egypt is opening to the whole world. It's increasing cooperation with all countries of the world. There has been concentration on certain camps before some years, not now, in fact. But now Egypt is diversifying its resources, diversifying its cooperation with all countries of the world. Wherever there is an interest for Egypt, you find Egyptian officials going and dealing with these countries. And there is something very important in this cooperation with Poland. Yes, it's lately we had a problem with children's milk. They are going to make this milk through cooperation with Poland, in Egypt, I mean. And another very important thing, distributing Egyptian agriculture products, because there are problems facing agriculture products. In some countries, they are trying to find any mistake to stop importing these products. So opening new markets means means new resources, means hard currency.
Means we are not going to depend on one country, as you've kindly mentioned, diversifying our resources.
And this is a way of getting hard currency.
Sure.
It's not only tourism. We cannot concentrate only on tourism. And if the Western world or outside world decides that they are not sending tourists, there are other resources for Egypt.
Amen to that. But ma'am, let's focus a little bit or elaborate on our diplomacy, on our foreign relations. As President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, for example, received the Egyptian-German Friendship Association representatives recently. He met before that with African editors-in-chief. Now Tariq Qabil is in Poland for signing memoranda of understanding in many fields, in specific in industry and trade. And on the 21st of March, our top diplomat, Sameh Shukri, is going to be in America for more talks on diplomatic ties and on many issues of mutual concern. And he received just 48 hours
and
ago
President
his
Sisi is going.
counterpart. Yes, I mean before President
yes.
Sisi. How do you see all these meetings or all these foreign relations meetings, all these diplomatic efforts, whether by the presidency, I mean on the presidential level, or on the diplomatic level with our foreign ministry persons or our ministry high-ranking officials, topping the list, of course, Sameh Shukri?
If the president is so active, all ministers are going to run after him, and the head of the government. There must be a flurry of activities.
Yeah.
So
normal, I mean,
yes.
Have you expected that?
In fact, no. I didn't expect that because...
Let's confess it, yes.
Yes, they were not that active. In fact, now they are very active in diversifying their resources and relations with outside world.
Returning to Al-Ahram, where we read the urgent fines on the table, both the cabinet and the government and council of governors tackles providing the goods and the supervision on the markets and the inauguration of new outlets and following up with the execution of the services projects. Once again, market, controlling the prices, efforts to curb the hiking prices. Some high-ranking officials, governors or executive officials, they do succeed in that, and others no.
Yes.
Whose fault is this?
Whose fault is this? It's the whole society, in fact, because if you read Gabarty, he said something that is not very nice about Egyptian merchants.
Okay.
They tend to exploit circumstances.
But is this only applied to Egyptians or all over the world?
They tend to be not honest. They only seek profits. But they must understand that there is national security in their work.
Sure.
If society is stable, part of this stability is their responsibility. It's the responsibility of the merchants. They are citizens of this country. They have to shoulder their responsibility. But they are short-sighted. They want big profits very quickly, no matter what happens, if even
huge sums of money in very short period.
If even there is a catastrophe coming after these profits, they must deal with this, putting in front of their eyes that they are part of this country. If this country is destroyed, they will be destroyed.
Sure. And they are not going to get use of any of the money they have collected.
Yes.
But ma'am, I'm asking this question to know how we can cooperate. And we here, I mean the cabinet or the executive officials and the people. How do you see boycotting certain goods, for example, when their prices are very hiking? Are you with or against?
No, I'm with. This happens everywhere in the world. But if we lack certain commodity, we rush to buy this commodity. We can do without chicken or without meat for a month, for example. We will not die if we don't eat meat or chicken.
And we are not going to die without this so-called yamish of the holy month of Ramadan, the nuts. And, you know, whenever Ramadan's come, Ramadan is the month of fasting.
Yes.
We do,
We-
unfortunately,
we
we do
turned it.
consume
Yes.
much more
Food, yes.
food and I mean
Luxuries.
diversity of food kinds. Do you
Yes.
have any explanation?
We turned it into a month of eating, not a month of fasting, because we eat more than what we eat all over the year. And we are very keen to buy so many things, including nuts, as you said. But if there are no nuts for a year, we're not going to die. There is no problem. This is
This is a culture.
social responsibility.
Yes, amen to that. To Al-Ahram, where we continue to read, the visit of the Cultural and Antiquities Committee at the House of Representatives to Nubia reveals that there is a lack of security presence in the temples, the absence of electricity, and the negligence of the maintenance work. The Minister of Antiquities, Khalid Al-Anani, says the inscription settled the identity of the king of Mataria. Al-Anani confirms that the